And now here on Editorji at the Kalaari Summit, the man himself, Vijay Shekhar. What is your sense of the overall ecosystem? What are the basic messages that you are giving people right now?
I think it's clear that India is a big opportunity for technology companies. Consumer base of India has finally happened. We now have hundreds of million consumers who are transacting, if you want to say, consumers who are valuable for others to target, so advertising revenues, and consumers who are consuming huge amount of content. Now you know that how we are largest video consuming country in the world. So I don't think that anybody else could have asked for something else added on this layer. Obviously, the resources and the money, etc. requirements have also gone higher to play in this market, but we are at a big market now.
So all of this question, after demonetization, this entire question about the payment, and it's going to be digital payment, and India is going to have an ecosystem around payments that is better than anything else in the world. Have we lived up to that potential yet, or only partly there? Because privacy and other questions have also come.
I think I remember the demonetization was a month or run rate. I still remember 2016 there was $6 or $7 billion, and we were very happy because we sort of jumped from 2 to 6, 3 times growth and so on. And the last quarter in my board deck it was $72 billion. So
$72 billion.
We should be $100 billion soon.
So is that growth because more and more people are so what is it because?
Network
is it
effect.
Because, yeah, so is it
network effect of more consumers are getting used to, more merchants are getting used to, more consumers are liking and telling someone else to try it out, more merchants are getting comfortable and understanding the value of it, and that are asking consumers to try it out. We have yet not added layers and beauty of things like that you can get credit out of it. Consumer credit has started coming in. We launched Paytm Postpaid and so on, stuff like that. The idea is that right now it is convenience centric and a little bit of benefit, the cashback centric. I would say that the market is understanding convenience and product benefits of digital payments. Market will now go into second tier of benefits where you start to get credit, insurance and other financial services.
If you take a look at the logic of a lot of other things that are happening, the Jan Dhan accounts, all of that logic is there. Aadhaar is still there. It's not gone away despite the privacy concerns. Universal basic income or minimum income, as the Congress is saying it. Payments directly to bank accounts. The logic all seems to be this: keep on shifting ourselves to a digital payment and a mobile payment system.
It is.
Which is probably very good news for you.
Not just me, I think it's a good news for country at large and everybody else in the ecosystem also. I'd say that, look, if we want to be a couple of $1 trillion more than what we are today, so we are about $2+ trillion and we want to be $5-10 trillion, I'm sure we want to be and obligately should be a digital technology economy. I mean, America uses plastic and China uses its phone. We do need our plastic and phone variations of those. So it's an obligation for a $10 trillion economy to have a digital payments.
One of the problems that is sometimes raised is that, look, all of this is very great and Indian companies do well up to a point, but increasingly the commanding heights in India are being controlled now by foreign companies. The American companies, the Chinese companies, what's happening is, are we going to a certain stage and then the foreigners are buying it out? And that's a sort of a thesis.
It's an entrepreneur and investor theory. I can say that I'm in it for long haul. Long haul is a lifelong haul. And my investors, whether they were Chinese and Americans, they have understanding that as an operations, this is a operating company for good. Now, does it mean that some companies which are exiting, let's say in case of Flipkart, I think it was incredible outcome for Flipkart as a company and investors and everybody else. And I think it was good for them to get acquired because after some time, the stress on the business would have got even higher. I'm not here to say that it won't happen, but I'm here to say that many Indian companies will become really big.
But some Indian companies, they're very tough. It's too tough to compete with a Amazon. How is it going to compete with an Uber? How is it possible to compete with a TikTok in China? So those questions will start to come up.
Just like Maruti could compete with every other car company, and Haldiram still can compete with every other.
Maruti is theoretically a Japanese company.
Yeah, that's fun. That's why I'm saying that if you see the ownership of Maruti and then you see about how it worked out as a company, as a brand, it still remains more competition. The idea is that more competition does not kill you. It's you who get killed yourself.
If you're doing it. So overall, optimistic. Elections coming, could be a process of change. How optimistic are you today, right now?
I'm very optimistic. I think the best part about Indian economy is that whatever may happen, we in next 7 years will have a double the economy. 2.5 trillion more being added. I'm happier on that for any day.
And that's actually a big thing because now India is now reaching the size where if we keep growing at this rate, the absolute size of the what is being added is huge. I mean, $2.5 trillion being added
incrementally added to an economy which took 70 years
in 7 years.
Yeah, it took 70 years to build it. 7 years more.
The first $2.5 trillion took like all of time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So 70 years versus 7 years, it's an extraordinary time. I would say that government's attention to digital, government's attention to startups or everybody else as an economy has been huge. We are now on that path. We'll be that for sure.
So $5 trillion economy 7 years from now. You're confident about it?
I am very highly confident about it, and I can say that even if by the India standard, the IST timeline you had 2 years, it won't matter so much. Basically, the idea is 7 and add 2 years of being Indian, 9 years, I'm fine. I'm not coming.
It's still a giant economy there.
It's a giant economy.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.